Okay. Here's a list. Eight Schindlers.
That would be a long
Cinema.
list.
Oh, but the list is life, Dean.
Yes.
From Taste of Cinema, here are 10 legendary actors who did not win an Oscar for their best performances.
Okay.
'Tis the season. They're number 10. Montgomery Clift for Judgment at Nuremberg.
As his best performance?
Well, yeah, okay. He would have been a fine winner for his nominated work in The Search, From Here to Eternity, and especially A Place in the Sun. Alas, none of these performances earned him the Oscar. But most inexcusable of all is his loss for one of his final performances in Judgment at Nuremberg, where he was nominated for supporting.
He was great in that movie, and he did it under incredible duress because he was, it was. I think it was Judy Garland that actually got him to do it, and he required special coaching because of his alcoholism. Had sort of destroyed his ability to remember lines, and took a lot of effort to get that performance on screen. And so some of that nervousness that you get in that performance, which is really palpable, is actually real. It's really coming from him because he just didn't think he could do it. It's really only a one scene performance, but it is an amazing performance. I agree with the writer there that Place of the Sun might have been more correct, but it's funny. Just the years where he gave his greatest performances, it never lined up for him because there was always somebody better. I
wonder if Brando was relieved when Clift and Dean were out of the scene.
Oh, I'm sure he was. I'm sure he was.
Number 9. He wasn't even nominated for this role. Kirk Douglas from Paths of Glory.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean he's great in that role, no question about it. He's also, but Douglas is also another actor. I mean, if you ask me, Ace in the Hole is probably his greatest performance. As much as I love him in Paths of Glory, he may go a little overboard in the final scenes, but he certainly should have been nominated, at least. But then again, Paths of Glory wasn't nominated for anything. It should have won Best Picture.
Yeah.
But, in 57 you had Henry Fonda in 12 Angry Men, and Burt Lancaster in Sweet Smell of Success, and Andy Griffith in The Face of the Crowd, and Victor Sostrom for Wild Strawberries, and then the eventual winner was Alec Guinness for Bridge Over the River Kwai. So, and then you got, Charles Lawton for Witness for the Prosecution, or Toshiro Mifune for The Throne of Blood, or even Ben Gazzara for The Strange One. So, I don't know. It's a good choice, but I don't think that he deserves it.
And you also had Douglas. It's Vincent Van Gogh. I think he got nominated for that.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me that I was watching this interview with Scorsese, and he said the first time that he read Silence was he was the shoot. One of his movies that he was directing went over, and he had to postpone his appearance as Vincent Van Gogh in Kurosawa's film Dreams for a couple of weeks. And so then he flew out to Japan, you know, where the events of silence take place. And he read the novel for the first time as he was playing Vincent van Gogh. I was like, wow, how cool is that? I mean, two great artists.
Yeah, what a great... All of those.
Playing a Scorsese, who is himself a great artist, playing a great artist in the film of another great artist.
Reading the works of another great artist.
I know. My God.
Yes.
Okay. Number 8, Charles Chaplin for The Great Dictator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. What is that? 1940? The Great Dictator.
Is it that late, or is it a little? Is it before? I'm not 100% positive.
No, it's 40.
Okay.
For my
FDR.
money, Henry Fonda deserves to have won in 1940 for The Grapes of Wrath.
Mm-hmm.
But I would put Charles Chaplin right behind Henry Fonda for that.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough
but
call.
Then again,
I mean,
I would have given Charles Chaplin Best Actor for City Lights.
Yeah,
I think that's his great performance. That's his greatest performance.
As it is, Charlie Chaplin won 2 honorary Oscars and another Oscar for Best Original Score.
Right.
We could remake The Great Dictator now too.
Yeah, no, we could. But remember,
that would be big.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Yeah, no, you could. I don't know why someone's not working on that right now, but you remember FDR was the one persuaded Chaplin to keep working on it. FDR was the one that said, "You got to finish this movie. That you're on the right track." I mean, FDR was the one who really wanted him to
understood the power of film as propaganda.
Yeah,
part of the movement. Yeah. Our apologies to the Trump voters out there who are listening to tonight's show
and shaking with rage.
I know there are some out there.
There are. Trust me, there are.
That listen to us. Number 7, James Stewart for It's a Wonderful Life.
Now that one, I agree with. I mean, It's a Wonderful Life deserved to win best picture that year, which I think is 47, right? So,
the year that it won, the year that it was nominated, that he was nominated, it went to Frederick March in The Best Years of Our Lives instead.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't have gone with Frederick March. I'm trying to get up my my thing. I mean,
do we really have to sit around and wait for that?
I'm trying to navigate my website to sort of get to these years because I don't know, I can't remember what year It's a Wonderful Life comes from. Okay, it's 46. So, I mean, I definitely agree with that. James Stewart deserved Best Actor that year, no question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's one from, I think this is 1962. So you can get up your thing to 1962. starting right now. Speaking of getting it up, this part is about a guy that can't get it up for his wife. How ironic. What a great segue. Their number 6 is Paul Newman and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, over... what was that? That was 60... That's 62? I mean, I don't even think he should have been nominated. I mean, you got Peter O'Toole for Lawrence of Arabia and Gregory Peck to Kill a Mockingbird, Joel McRae and Randolph Scott for Ride the High Country. And
okay, maybe it's not that year because the guy that won the Oscar was David Niven for Separate Tables.
Okay, so that's like 58 or something like that.
Go back down again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 58. Yeah, so yeah, 58. I mean, that becomes a little bit more more iffy. I mean, 58 you have James Stewart for Vertigo, or Orson Welles' Touch of Evil, Alec Guinness in The Horse's Mouth, or Sidney Poitier in Defiant Ones, or even Andy Griffith in No Time for Sergeants. My favorite performance from that year is Zbigniew Cebulski from Ashes and Diamonds, the Polish James Dean, as he's most popularly known. But that's a really extraordinary performance. I wouldn't even, with Paul Newman is good in that movie. But because the role is sort of emasculated in a major way, it just taints the whole performance to me.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem with that movie is they couldn't take it in the place because of the time in which it was made. They couldn't take it to the places that Williams intended necessarily with the material.
Mm-hmm.
They could not be extroverted in suggesting that Newman's character was homosexual.
Yeah.
I think they wanted to drive that point home just by casting Elizabeth Taylor, because what man would not want to be intimate with someone that damn beautiful? And she is gorgeous in that film. He would have to be gay. I think they wanted Elizabeth Taylor's casting to do the work for them.
Yes.
That regard.
Yeah. And she's better in the movie than he is. Really?
Yeah. Here's one from 1955, I think. It doesn't give me a year, so I'm just guessing. Speaking of James Dean, this is the American James Dean. James Dean in East of Eden.
Yeah, East of Eden. I mean, he is great in that movie, no question about it. And I think it's his best performance, too. I mean, his best lead performance. Let me just say, I wouldn't have picked him for the Oscar that year, but I would have given him the supporting actor Oscar for Giant, which I think is. Mm-hmm. He was nominated in the lead, but I don't even think did he even. Yeah, he did get nominated for Best Actor for that. But what he didn't get nominated for was Rebel Without a Cause. That's right. Yeah, I mean, if James Dean would have won, I would have picked James Dean over, for the award. Unfortunately, or fortunately for us, Robert Mitchum in Night of the Hunter has just got to win over over James Dean. There's just no question about it.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Their number 4 is Dustin Hoffman for The Graduate.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Was that the 100%. Year John Wayne won? That was, wasn't it?
67. No, it was. I can't remember now.
Oh no, that was Midnight Cowboy. That was when he was nominated for Midnight Cowboy. That's when he lost to John.
It's Rod Steiger in The Heat of the Night.
Okay. Heat of the Night beat him for The Graduate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, there was Paul Newman and Cool Hand Luke and Robert Blake and in Cold Blood and Alan Delon and with Samurai, Albert Finney and Two for the Road. Of course, Warren Beatty and Bonnie and Clyde and Lee Marvin and Point Blank. And I even liked Spencer Tracy in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, which is a movie. It's really the only aspect of that movie that I do like is Tracy's performance. And Dudley Moore in Bedazzled, I think, is wonderful, too. But absolutely, Dustin Hoffman, no question about it, should have won. I mean, that performance sort of changed the face of acting didn't it?
Well, it defined the leading man for the generation of for that generation.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it really did. And I think that has I mean, if you want to get down to brass tacks, that probably has more to do with Mike Nichols than Hoffman in the long run. Because, I mean, if it wasn't for Mike Nichols, Hoffman didn't stand a snowball's chance in hell of getting that part.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Number 3, Jerry. This one's for you. Jack Nicholson about Schmidt.
Wow, okay. Although, am I wrong? I don't have a problem with Adrian Brody winning that year. I mean, or am I alone in that?
Yes, you're wrong.
Okay. All right. Now
what
you
do
can say
say?
that.
No, you're not wrong. Actually, it's one of the great moments in recent Oscar history when Adrian Brody was announced, and Nicholson was the first one standing up and applauding for him. You know,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was an unusual year. I mean, I personally went another way. I like Timothy Spall and All for Nothing.
Yeah.
But I just like that actor so much, and I mean, I loved Nicolas Cage in Adaptation, and Ralph Fiennes and Spider. How great is he in that? And even, Edward Norton in 25th Hour, and Leonardo DiCaprio in Catch Me If You Can.
That Nicholson deserved to win for About Schmidt more than Cuckoo or Terms of Endearment. That's their argument.
I don't know about that.
I wouldn't agree with that. I mean, definitely not Cuckoo's Nest. I mean, that's the role that I feel like Jack Nicholson was born to play. I mean, he's fantastic in About Schmidt, no question about it. He would have been my third choice. I mean, he changes his whole persona, and and even the way he's walking and
maybe
just
that's
moving.
Maybe that's their argument. That About Schmidt is a movie is a role that he was definitely not born to play. And so maybe that's their argument, that it's the more worthy acting.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
There's an argument for that, for sure.
But Nicholson said, I remember him talking about Cuckoo's Nest, and he said, look, one of the major challenges was the fact that everybody thought I was perfect for this role. And he said the role was actually quite difficult. I didn't feel perfect for it necessarily. Number 2, it's interesting how they think he deserved for Schmidt more than Cuckoo, and he won for Cuckoo. Who they think should have won the year for Cuckoo is, I think it's the same year, is Pacino for Dog Day Afternoon.
Yeah, now you see, this is one of the few, I'm currently going through all the years, just for viewers or listeners. I'm currently going through all the years to pick out the best in every category in each year on my website, Filmic Ability. So I've gone through most of these years. I'm up to 2012, I think. But with 75, there was just no freaking way I could choose between Nicholson and Pacino that year. It's just, I could not make myself pick one. So it's one of the few ties that I have, because it's just they're just too great. Those two performances are just mind blowing. And to say one is better than the other it just seems wrong to me.
And they're both in the service of truly great movies too. I mean, it's not like one piece of material is lacking in a way that the other picks up on. I think it's the best Pacino's ever been, his Dog Day. And Cuckoo's classic performance as well. I mean, that is a Sophie's choice. But that's Sophie's choice of the actors, so that's another. All right. Number 1 is Brando and A Streetcar Named Desire.
I agree with that completely, 100%. Yeah, no question about it. He deserved it more for that than he did for On the Waterfront. I mean, I know it's a role that he had played on stage many times before, and that's sometimes an argument against giving that type of, it used to be like, when Rex Harrison won Best Actor for My Fair Lady, people were kind of up in arms. Some people were up in arms. Well, he's done it literally 2,000 times on stage. So, is it right to give somebody who had done a role on stage an Oscar for it? Same thing goes for Paul Scofield for A Man for All Seasons. So there is an argument like, well, they've had a lot of practice, but that doesn't take into account that movie acting is vastly different than stage acting is. So you would have to rejigger your performance for the camera. And in that, he and the rest of the cast in Streetcar Named Desire really deserve to be on top. I mean, almost totally. I almost gave all 4 acting awards to Streetcar Named Desire that year. I just felt like Carl Malden was edged out just a little bit out of the supporting actor thing by Peter Ustinov and Quo Vadis. But otherwise, Vivian Leigh, Kim Hunter, yep, definitely up there, tops of their categories. And that was my choice for the Best Picture of that year as well. It's one of the great stage to movie adaptations.
So would you would say that's the one movie, if he were only given one Oscar in his career, it should have been for that movie over anything else?
Well, not being a fan, I know you'd probably go with Last Tango in Paris, but I'm not a tremendous fan of that movie, even though I recognize how good the performance is. But I'll go out on that limb and say that.
Okay.
Yeah, if I would give it, because I think, why? Because I think that performance is the performance that changes film, that really changed film acting in a major way. Even more so than what Cliff had maybe done previously. I think that performance, is the one.
A lot of people say that about Waterfront.
Yeah, I mean, I love On the Waterfront. He's great in it, no question about it. I don't like the movie as much. Yeah, I don't. I'm not on board with the movie politically, and as much as I love all the performances in it and the photography and everything like that, there's just something about something about that movie that just doesn't engage me like Streetcar does.
I don't know. They all cite the scene where in Waterfront where Eva Marie Saint drops her glove, and Brando just picks it up and continues on with the scene and makes it a prop.
Mm-hmm.
It's those little things. It's those little things like that were revolutionary in a certain period of time. Taking advantage of an accident, and that alone was a revelation in film acting at that time.